Capitulum XXVI, Daedalus et Icarus, Lecture 3, versus 32 secundus, usque adversum 60. Daedalus vero, quid juvat Deos invocare inquit, dum hic quietus sedes, qui ipse se juvare non vult, auxilium Deorum non meret. But Daedalus says, what good does it do to call upon the gods, while you sit here unmoving? He who is unwilling to help himself does not deserve the help of the gods. Vero, a mild adversative conjunction, but, and juvat, we will eventually see juvat with an impersonal force. It gives pleasure to or pleases the accusative. Here, the idea of helping is still predominant, but the construction is moving somewhat in that direction. What good does it do? What help is it to call upon the gods? He says, dum, while you sit, long ye family verb sedere, quietus, nominative, which in English we would probably translate with an adverb. Quietly or inertly, inactively, and hic with a macron, here. He who, as often Latin begins a sentence with a relative pronoun, no leading demonstrative, which we will have to supply in English. He who does not want to help himself, say, reflexive, does not merit, is our English cognate, does not deserve the help of the gods. Merere, a long E family verb. At noli timere, ego consilium fuge, iam ex cogitavi, et si clause sunt alie viae, una via nobis patet, ad fugiendum. But do not be afraid. The only way we have so far to give a negative command, to put nole into the imperative singular noli, the imperative plural nolite, followed by the infinitive, do not be afraid. I, as opposed to you, Icarus, just sitting there, I have thought up ex cogitavi, a plan of escape, consilium fuge. Already, Jan, I have already thought up a plan of escape, although etsi clause sunt alie viae, although other routes, ways, roads are shut. Then again, we have the same question to decide about how to understand clause sunt. As a verb, sunt with an adjective clause, or do we take it as the perfect tense from claudere, perfect tense, passive voice? Here it seems most natural to bring out the present flavor of that perfect construction. They are not now being closed, they are already shut. Although other routes are shut, one road, una via, is open, patet, patere, a long E family verb, is open to us, the dative, ad fugiendum, for flight, for fleeing. A bit of a double entendre there in English with flight, given what happens next. But fugiendum, the gerund, once again. Not ad and fugere, but when preceded by a preposition, fugere becomes fugiendum, the gerund in the accusative case. Intuere illam aquilam, quae in manium orbem circum carcerem nostrum volat. Look at that eagle, which is flying in a great circle around our prison. Intuere is a deponent verb. It's a long E family verb as well. Intueri. Intueor, intueri, intuitum esse. To look at a thing. Intuit is the English cognate. Here we see a passive imperative form. It's deponent, so it's active in meaning, but that's the passive imperative form. Intuere. Intuamini would be the plural imperative passive. Look at that eagle, which is flying in a big circle. Orbis, orbis, the English cognate is orb. Circum, in the English word circumference. Circumnavigate around our prison. Quis est tam liber quam avis, que trans montes, valles, flumina, maria volare potest, qui naves celi imitamur. Who is so free as a bird, or as the bird, which can fly across mountains, transmontes, transvalles, across valleys, transflumina, across rivers, transmaria, across seas? Why do we not imitate the birds of the sky? Quin, the equivalent of cur non, cur non. So tam and quam, again working together, coordinating two parts of the sentence. So free as this, so free here, as a bird, and then potest volare in the relative clause, which can fly across, etc. Imitamur, a deponent verb, a long A family verb also. Imitari. And quin, as I said, the equivalent of cur non. Why don't we imitate the birds of the sky? Minos, qui terre marique imperat, dominus aeris non est, per aera hinc evolabimus. Minos, who rules the land and the sea, is not master of the air. We will fly out of here, or we will fly out from here through the air. Recall that imperare takes a dative object. Minos, who commands to the land and to the sea. But of course we can't say that in English. We would say who commands the land and who commands the sea, or perhaps rules over the land and the sea. Aer, aeris, there it is in the genitive in the second line, is not master of the air. We will fly out, and volare, that is ex volare, we will fly out, hinc, from here, through the air. Again, that Greek accusative, per aera. Hoc est consilium meum, nemo nos volantes persequi poteret. This is my plan. No one will be able to chase us since we are flying. We can do a number of things with that participle in the third line, but perhaps we'll do something with it like since or because. Recall that the participle can be translated in generally speaking, three ways, as if it's a present participle, mere contemporaneity, mere simultaneity with the time of the main verb, which is in this sentence poterit. It can also be translated as the circumstance which promotes the action of or causes the action of the main verb. Because we are flying, what will be the case? Well, no one will be able to chase us. And then finally, and perhaps somewhat more rarely, it will be the situation in spite of which the main verb happens. In spite of the fact that we are flying, no one will be able to chase us. Which doesn't make any sense here, unless Minos and his minions were a big crowd of eagles or something. See that nos and volantes are both in the accusative case. They are the direct object of persequi. No one will be able to chase us flying ones. That is, no one will be able to chase us since we are flying, because we are flying. Ego quidem studiosus sum volandi, inquit Icarus, sed ale necessarie sunt ad volando, quoniam dii nobis allas non dederunt, volare non possumus. Indeed, I am eager to fly, says Icarus, but wings are necessary for flying. Since the gods have not given us wings, we cannot fly. Quidem, post-positive, emphatic word. I indeed am. Here it is not cupidus, but studiosus, zealous. In English we'll say for, eager for. But see what has happened in Latin. It's eager of, zealous of, the gerund in the genitive case at the end of the second line. Volandi, says Icarus. But wings, ale, but wings are necessary. Necessaria, the adjective agreeing with ale, for flight or for flying. Not ad volare, but ad volandum, the gerund in the accusative case. Since the gods, perfect tense, dederunt, did not give us wings, did not give wings, accusative, to us, the dative, we cannot fly. Homines sumus, non aves. We are human beings, not birds. Nemo nisi Deus naturam suam mutare potest. No one except a god can change his own nature. Perhaps Icarus is thinking here of the various transformations of Jupiter into birds or animals of different kinds. It's not clear how anything could change its own nature at a deeper level. At any rate, no one except Nisi, besides Nisi, a god, can change his own nature. Aves natura volare possunt. Birds are able to fly by nature. Notice the ablative in natura. Here again we feel very strongly the adverbial force. Birds are naturally able to fly. Not so human beings. So, likewise for item, that is, human beings non possunt volare, or non item possunt volare. Tum daedalus, quid ego facere non possum, inquit, profecto arte mea ipsa natura mutare potest. Then Daedalus says, what am I? Notice the repeated egos, emphatic. What am I unable to do, or perhaps to build, to make? Profecto, certainly, by means of, ablative, arte mea, by means of my skill, my craft, my art, ipsa natura, nominative, nature herself can be changed. And here, of course, all sorts of warning bells are going off in our minds. No, no, that can't be done. Don't do it. Don't attempt it. Multas res mirabiles iam confeci. I have already put together, constructed, we won't say confected, but that's the English cognate, many marvelous things, multas res mirabiles, confeci, perfect tense, quae artem meam omnibus demonstrant, and all these marvelous things which show, which demonstrate, demonstrant, my skill, my craft knowledge, artem meam, to the dative, to everyone, omnibus. And then in opposition to the multas res mirabiles, non solum edificia magnifica. Notice how non solum will be coordinated with verum etiam. Non solum, magnificent buildings, like this labyrinth, ud hunc labyrinthum. Notice that hunc labyrinthum is in the accusative case, because magna edificia, or because edificia magnifica is in the accusative case, because multas res mirabiles is in the accusative case. So all of this is an expansion on, and in apposition to, multas res mirabiles. Not only magnificent buildings, like this labyrinth, but also signa, statues, quae se ipsa movere possunt tamquam homines vivi, but also statues which can move themselves. Well, actually, it's more complicated than that, because we have an ipsa thrown in there as well, don't we? In the nominative, see that these are all neuter plurals. So signa, neuter plural, quae, neuter plural, and ipsa, neuter plural, which themselves, ipsa, are able to move themselves. So that's just too many themselves in English. I'll probably find out something else to do, or just ignore the ipsa, or do it in such a fashion as on their own, of their own accord, something like that. Or we might leave out the reflexive idea, which we often don't use, or generally don't use with the verb to move in English, which can themselves move, just like living human beings. Vivi homines, tamquam homines vivi possunt movere se. Tamquam, introducing a conjunction that introduces some other example or instance. Alas, quoque conficere possum, quamquam opus haud facile est. I can make wings also. Quoque post positive. But see how it comes after the word that is supposed to be emphasized. Wings also, not just great buildings and moving statues, but wings also I can make. Although the work, opus operis, is not at all easy. Opus operis, third declension, neuter. Recall that third declension nouns end in a, c, e, r, or us, l, n, and t, with some exceptions, of course, but opus operis, neuter, and so facile, from the adjective facilis, facile, neuter. Audax quidem est consilium tuum inquid Icarus, sed omne consilium fugiendi me delectat, ac tu id, quod semelex cogitavisti, perficere soles. To be sure, your plan is daring, says Icarus, but every plan of escaping delights me, and you are accustomed to do through to the end, perficere. You are accustomed to accomplish that which you have once devised. So audax, that one termination adjective again, third declension adjective, audax, audacious, agreeing here with consilium. Fugiendi at the end of the third line, the gerund in the genitive case again. Every, all, each plan of escaping. Gives me pleasure, pleases me, delights me, me delectat. Ac tu, id. So you see how I've broken up this sentence so that the relative clause is on the penultimate line. The subject is there on the third from last line. The antepenultimate line, if you will. Tu perficere soles. You are accustomed to complete, to accomplish, and then id is the direct object of perficere. But since that's a little vague, the id is spelled out by the relative clause, beginning with the quod semelex cogitavisti. You are accustomed to accomplish that which you have once thought up. Ex cogitavisti, perfect tense, active voice. Certe consilium meum perficiam inquid pater, ecce omnia habeo, que necessaria sunt ad hoc opus, penas, ceram, ignem. Certainly, I will, future tense, shorty family verb, third conjugation verb. Certainly, I will effect, accomplish, perfect my plan, says the dad. Behold, I have everything. Omnia habeo. I have all the things which are necessary, que necessariae sunt, ad hoc opus, for this, unto this task. Again, opus operis neuter, and so spelled thus after the preposition ad. I have wings, habeo penas, not wings, not alas, but feathers. I have feathers, habeo ceram, I have wax, habeo ignem, I have fire. Igne ceram moliam, cera moli penas iungam, et in lacertis figa. Notice that igne is in the ablative case. Moliam is the verb, from molire, to soften. So future tense here, I will soften the wax by means of the fire. Jungam, jungere, I will join the feathers by means of the soft wax. Cera moli, mollis, mole, third declension adjective meaning soft. Ed in lacertis figam, figere, fixisse, fixumesse. And I will fasten, I will attach, I will fix. Understand the direct object, the joined wings, the pennas juntas, in lacertis, into or onto our upper arms. So brachium, brachii, the word for arm, but if we want to get more specific, we can say that brachium refers to the lower arm, whereas lacertus, lacerti, refers to the upper arm.